begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
What up? What it do? You know, I can't believe I found a filter to match that crazy painting, but I did. How you guys doing out there today? It's got a blue side, right? What side am I on? Right side? No, go this way. I forget everything's flipped. Yeah, that's fire. What's good in the hood? Damn, I forgot my trees. I knew I forgot something. So many fucking little last minute things to always be getting. Let me check. Is my microphone good? Let me look at this. I swear to God, if you knew how many last minute shit my computer fucks with before I do this. Microphone's good, speakers are good. I don't think I have any more charts to open up and traumatize you with alerts. Should be good there. All right, I think I got it all. Oh, this is cool. Look, what did he find? He's comparing the moons from, or showing the 9 moons to this geometric pattern, which is the, what is this? It's the Jupiter, Mercury, and Earth cycle around the sun. It looks cool and looks like the shore art. That's fire. That's the geometric pattern. If you map the orbits of those 3 planets around the sun, you get this crazy geometric pattern. You get a bunch of them, actually, if you do it with all of the planets, the Venus and all of them, and inner planets. That's pretty cool. Had not seen that comparison, but that's a cool idea. Oh yeah, so I guess you know how we start the show every day. Speaking of art, what do you guys think? Do you like this one? Ooh, I didn't even realize how good that matched my original theme. Or Galaxy Nebula colors. This is actually done by a different artist. It actually came out pretty cool. You guys think? More charts and mountains. This series will be ending soon, but I'm having a little more fun with the planets and stuff. What do you guys think of my space stuff? I've always wanted to be able to make cool space art. Never really tried it, but I'm having fun figuring this out. Doorways to greater fortunes, motherfuckers. Doorways to greater fortunes. I'm sure you guys looked up what Intrepid means. The market's in a sustained difficult period, you know, coming off of through the looking glass, and you know, it's about perseverance to find the greener pastures. Ultimately, it's also about the flexibility to recognize there are greener pastures present when you think it's hard times, right? A lot of people think the market is difficult, but the market is not like, you know, just a single item. It's multifaceted, right? And there's always something that's out always doing better, even when you're not looking at it. Like when you think the market's doing bad, it might be just a matter of perspective. So, you know, backing up and stuff and looking at things like we talked about, like energy, you know, if anybody played energy for the last month and some, you would not have felt the way people feel trying to figure out how to bottom fish tech's rotation. And you know, until people stop trying to bottom fish tech, you know, it's likely a dangerous place. So, you know, we keep track of sentiment things and see when that bloodbath stops. Even on holiday, I was watching 3 to 4 streams in a row, and it's crazy how much. What is this crazy thing that's in front of your words here? How much of a story and evolution your streams convey? Dude, what the hell is this in Streamlabs? It's like blocking half of my chat. Hold on a sec. Let me try to get another. Dude, Streamlabs is like possessed every fucking show. Do other streamers go through this shit? Like, what the fuck? All right. There it goes. All right, I can see. Yeah, so I did try to, like, you know, tie these surreal pieces together, you know, from the doorways of the other art and stuff, and keeping the doorway theme here. You know, it's really cool when you go back and we look at this on the chart and stuff like that. One of the cool things about the Surreal series, you know, it captured the rotation in asset classes, and that would look really cool when you actually realize you can put this series on top of both, like the S&P, and you can put it on top of energy. So that was something I was, you know, want to see what that looks like when we get a little bit more time away from it. So anyways, I think it's pretty fun. I definitely love the color scheme of this one. This came out pretty fire. You know, it never does it justice because they always scale your stuff down. You know, I'm such an idiot. I'm like, why are the colors like so fucking faint? It's because I'm wearing sunglasses. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, I know I made this brighter. Retarded. All right, I'll stop. Fuck it. Forgot the trees. What time is it? It is, wow, not a clock in sight, 9:22. All right. I'll stop staring at it. This looks fire, doesn't it? This is what a stock market show host should look like. I'm telling you, I think I figured out why we're not growing the numbers. But if you're down with it, it's just the only way it should be done. I gotta say, this filter looks really crazy with that fucking picture. It's pretty crazy, right? It's like leaking fire and like, the way that ice vapors would be flowing over you. I do like that shit. That shit is fire. Alright, let's see. That is not you. Alright. Ooh. I could start with war stories first, because somebody actually left me one. Let's see. I got 2 today. Let's see if you motherfuckers are competing for writing books against each other. I'm just going to take a peek first. Okay. Looks reasonable. So, market's going to open a little bit, so let me touch on that real quick before that happens while we're not looking. So, yep. Decent pullback, right? This pullback started with that showed the ton of symbols. We left it there. Isn't that crazy what a center read that one was? So that was like a much, much stronger ton of symbols than the last ton of symbols. I'm taking it. But, this led to this massive correction. Tracking back on this angle, we didn't pull the rotation off in this box. Did a fake for it yesterday. And then failed underneath. And then we're gapping along the angle downward, into this deeper range here. Can probably stretch this out. Worth possibly paying attention when he lands in there because it's good congestion. Spy range. Wanted to see him, see if he could pull out the rotation off of Goku. Shows interest in real estate. We got a good rotation back to the angle, but we did not escape the angle. So this now extends the channel down lower. And so, you're always dealing with either, right, pull back in a much larger resolution uptrend, or you're dealing with a low resolution uptrend, or a low resolution, downtrend. So we want to keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons we kind of track it and we allow it to prove itself before you jump the gun. So keeping your eyes on this right now, right? One of the big problems is there's a cross current that most people aren't paying attention to. And tech is really just taking it in the face, This cross current that's here, diamonds versus Qs, industrials, some financials and stuff, and the energies, that stuff we've been talking about, has been pushing against tech. And so tech, when people say the market isn't good, it's because they're staring at a particular market that's out of phase, right? When we talk about that in phases of fortune. You like that? You see how it all kind of works now? I don't know. I'm kind of just going with it. Where did, fuck. I just got a COVID hole in my brain. I was just going to get you another chart. What chart was I going to get you? Holy shit. Oh, right. What a brain fart. I swear to God, I am retarded from COVID. Stop. Damn, I opened another tab. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I need to get to this. So, right, while tech has not been so hot, there's been strength elsewhere, right? Amazon, of course, had good earnings and stuff like that. These are some services and staples and things like that. Energy, just other places, different bright spots, some financials, Berkshires and stuff like that. But tech has just not been it, And this morning, tech is looking like more not it, as it comes in like this. Just a chart. So along with that, there's been an energy wave. And one of the things you don't want to be on the wrong side of is these kinds of rotations where, for the last, since about here, since we gave you guys an energy basket, energy's had, a local bull market while tech has just been taking a breather or just flat out de-risking. And that's been on the back of rising volatility, slightly rising volatilities here in this pump. And then we're waiting to see if this bull flag matures and we actually pump again, right? This is the one thing I told you is that, in what's considered a bad market, markets pulling back, people being oriented to buying risk assets to the long side versus currency, people see a bad market in terms of a pullback in just that space. But when we look at this like in an intermarket dynamic, and we look at it across, across different sectors and not just in the currency, all right, what constitutes like a bull wave or a risk on move, against the dollar is actually still happening in what you consider a de-risking environment for tech. So like I told you, energy can push when tech is de-risking and you have rising volatility. It's one of the few places you'll see that, and most people completely miss it because the fear that's going on when tech is pulling back completely mind fucks people, and people do not associate this environment with being long anything versus the dollar. But in this particular situation and the waves that we've seen coming out of like 2021, that has been the actual trade to take, and nobody fucking really has made note of this or sees it. What did I do here? All right, it's one of the few things you see: a rising volatility environment, a de-risking fucking tech and risk on assets, and people completely sleeping on something like this, where this happens, and you see like CL and energy assets catch strength in that environment. So, like I said before, we want to keep track of this. If this keeps on extending, and if it's anything like the beginnings of this right here, this is it means that at the top of the market, when we saw the ton of symbols, the market was full fucking tilted, and people really, really wanted it. Because we're keeping track of a century where they told us that funds that are now 90% long that had been 20% short in October, and that's when the whole crowd just fucking comes into like, oh my gosh. If this flag is the pullback that has to kill all of them, and it's not going another leg higher, we want to pay attention to the beginnings of trend somewhere else. That's going to lead to that devastation in a bull market where no one's looking. So it's a lot to keep track of where things are, but we don't want to get caught up in the crowd sentiment right now. The only thing that can make you money is playing the stocks that were just in the news. The next bull wave that happens in the next space that no one's looking at will be the next stocks people want to be in. That's going to be part of what they saw in the news. So we want to be where people aren't and where the news isn't. And right now, the news isn't paying attention to energy so much. They're really just looking at how close these stocks that they've just now taken note are near all-time highs are, and pulling back from them. They're not really talking about anything to do with what we're looking at over here. This was Kathy Big Penis's big mistake, right? When she ended up on the wrong side of a tide like this from COVID, this is not the same thing. Let me get this off here. What the fuck? All right, this is the same kind of relationship. Where did I put Kathy? Right, back here. Right, when COVID forced people to stay away from recreation and things outdoors that put them together, Kathy was on the wrong side of this tide, and she had no idea how long this would last, but she kept on, in here, she kept on buying Zoom, and it fucking devastated that fund. It was a horrible mistake. She was just on the wrong side of history. I'm not saying a move like this in energy versus tech is what has to happen, but this is how it begins, right? So if it gets much bigger, it's going to be the death of everyone sitting on the wrong side of that perception. And a lot of people right now want another shot at Tesla or want another shot at Apple, and it may need to cool off a little bit longer to get rid of those sentiments before it can proceed any higher. Do I think that's the end of Apple where it's at? No, but the size of the correction is indicative of how fucking tilted the market perceptions were. So it'll pull back as much as it needs to get those motherfuckers out. You ever heard that saying the low is where your stops are? It's true, and on higher resolutions, it's where the whole country's stops are. Anyways. Alright, that's memos and junk. What is that? Yo. Oh. None of that was showing. I swear to God I hit the button. So you guys saw none of that, huh? Okay, I see. Sweet Jesus. I gotta repeat all that? That was a lot of words. I'm not saying all that again. Alright. Let's recapture the moment. That's a lot of words, niggas. I don't know what I just said. I was really paying attention because I don't know what the fuck just happened. Alright, well, wow, that's a lot of stuff I went through that you're not going to have any idea unless I share it to you again, huh? Alright, you sons of bitches. So what I was saying was, god damn it. Was all of this not on there? Just from Zoom CCL? Oh, okay, thank God. All the rest was on there? Well, when the fuck did I change that? Zoom CCL, that's stupid of me. Alright, well, cool. That saves me a lot of work. So yeah, this is the same kind of thing. A fractal of being on the wrong side of like energy versus tech when those waves happen, like in the end of 2021. This is how it begins. And Kathy had no real idea how fucking crazy. Well, this is the tide of actually Zoom pumping on CCL. Kathy began buying the living shit out of it, coming down off of like 520s, and kept buying it all the way down when COVID basically shuttered that business for Zoom. Sorry, the business that had basically boomed on the back of COVID. Once it reopened and could go back out into the world, she kept on buying this thing and kept on buying the wrong side of history. See, now I'm totally out of sync with my whole fucking presentation. Anyways, yeah, so we don't want to be on the wrong side of this. Like, if tech keeps correcting against fucking energy and you walk into something like this, it'll devastate your asses. And the reality is like the size of this pullback really is indicative of the tilt, the magnitude of the tilt in the zero-sum system of perceptions that are here to participate in this. How big is the tilt right now in tech versus energy is kind of the question, right? And it will pull back as much as it takes to kill this perception. And that's what we're worried about. So that's one of the reasons that we try to point you guys at this in the event we have something like that unfolding in XLE and XLK. We don't want to be on the wrong side of Zoom CCL in that sense. And this tide will be as big as the crowd tilt really reflects. So what did I have on there? Yeah, we saw that already. I already deleted it. But yeah, in case this don't stop, pay attention, because ultimately, right? Here's a bull flag that appears to be rotating, and the last one was epic. If you're on the wrong side of this, right? This is the correction of tech after Fed policies kicked in. So if it's anything like that, we just want to be on top of it, right? Did you guys get all that? Did you get it this time, you motherfuckers? Did you get the repeat special? Did we do it? All right. That was a lot of memos and junk. All right. So, critically important situation is developing. Uno momento por favor. Actually, I can just leave this up because this is a pretty fucking fire-ass filter.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome.
And we're back. Can you go over it again? Can you lick these nuts? Then possibly we might be able to go over it again. But without the nuts licked, not a chance. So, saw a very weak attempt at Trollex trying to troll. You always got to pay attention to those sentiment things. Wasn't even worth the response. I just muted that pleb. But, whenever those plebs wear their ugly personalities, you always got to take note where on the graph that is, right? Always something, I got to tell you. Always something with those guys. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn that on. University of Michigan numbers 24 minutes ahead. Is it? Oh yeah, 10 o'clock numbers. Okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up on that. Yeah, there was a lot of fucking news this week, right? We had a lot of fucking numbers. So, how are you guys doing? Let's take a fucking on-air fucking census, right? How have you guys been doing? Because we know the market's been a little crazy, and it's definitely a lot of people. I don't feel the market pullback can't be as severe as it is unless people are on the wrong side of it, right? So it's not like everybody who's here at the show didn't get hit by something. Did I really come in here and do this twice? All right, so what is the most difficult thing that you guys have been experiencing in here, right? For many of you, it likely is if you're playing the wrong asset class, right? You can't find the best of breed. Everything seems relatively choppy. And, we talk about that from one asset, if you're like in semiconductors, making sure you're in the right one, the stronger one, right? Because it has better price integrity. When this happens to an entire sector, there's no best of breed in there. Everything is fucking vacant, and when bull flags are forming in various spaces, one of the things that happens is there's low liquidity and a lot of noise that helps to drown out everyone who's trying, kill off the emotions, and then fucking allow you to rotate that entire system. When we're dealing with something with all of tech itself is not best of breed. That is why it's so important to recognize this step the fuck completely out of the space, right? Because there is almost no good price integrity to be found. And so, paying attention to rotations in markets is definitely one thing most people get caught in. And before they recognize that space they're in is not like it anymore, they're already dead. So, one thing we try to do here is keep you ahead of that, because most people can never figure out which way any of that stuff is going. I think we did a pretty decent job of it, right? If we flagged your energy at the exact right moment, and we definitely had that warning of that ton of symbols in our show there through the looking glass. So what do you guys think is the most difficult thing for you in converting the stuff from the shows or from Discord into information you can use to make better choices? Part of me struggled to let Apple go, but managing the assets rotation thanks to your guidance, sir. Okay, cool. Izzy, do you realize how many dimensions there were to that call? I called the upside fucking volatility pump, the rotation across sectors at the same fucking time. Most people hope to get one of those right. We got all of that right all at once, and then gave you the basic materials and energy fucking waves that would come in that rotation off of tech, literally to the exact bull flag exits. And then we got less show viewers after that. How did that even fucking happen? What did you want me to do? Did you want to dump some meme coin in your face? Nothing worse than loading it and finding out it's fucking halfway plugged at the bottom. Fuck. Rookie mistake. Patience and focus on a few tickers, right? We do cover a lot. That's one thing you guys got to be careful of, right? We cover a lot of stuff, and you will get yourself really fucked up chasing it all. So, that whole hunter mentality we told you about, making sure you're kind of paying attention to just a few things, if you're not day trading, you could be focused on 3 symbols for a quarter, for 3 months out of the year, and nothing else really got in your focus. You're waiting on ETH, and you're watching fucking if Apple comes back again, and if in case Apple doesn't, what's Boeing doing, right? So you have a rotation against tech covered, and you're watching a crypto that's a big cap leader in there, and just in case, all right. And if you're not doing a day trade with that, right, I'm going to pass over hundreds of symbols before you really give a shit. But the show does give you some sentiment and things that can help feed into your analysis of the resolutions you're dealing with and when exactly that moment's more likely. So, it's not like it doesn't serve a purpose to keep up with the show every day, but you also don't need to keep up with every symbol that we talk about every single day. Playing longer time frames, way longer, okay? Play the continuation of the trend, been in energy play, then closed and was difficult to come back for 10 to 12 days. Oh, playing continuation once you get a wave. Okay, and that's just a matter of context and realizing that the trend might have more to do. Zooming out and keeping. Zooming out, bigger part is patience aspect. Some assets move on much larger time frames. Well, assets are moving in all different time frames, so it's a matter of resolution of what you're trying to operate in. If you find yourself switching through all different resolutions, you don't have a plan. You're trying to develop one off of a lucky strike, then that will leave you kind of like also a little emotionally flustered. One thing I tell you guys, like when we do like replays, right? If you ever see this, if you're ever doing this, hold on a sec. Where the heck is my charts? If you see anybody in replay doing one of these things, you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. Whenever you see somebody doing this, and they're just going everywhere like this and kind of clicking stuff and nothing really makes any sense, they have no plan. Oof, that's pumpy, right? And when you're actually looking at this, you're like, okay, well, this is a big red flag. Let's just look at XLE. Look at like just something. This guy drawn up, right? All right, we'll use OIH because he's like one of the guys that we mapped out for you, right? This guy, like I waited on him because this guy is like such a gargantuan fucking bull flag, right? Like we talked about him a lot. All these things are like these ridiculous things across like some stupid scale of time that the average, TikTok fucking attention span, fucking, today pleb won't pay attention more than fucking like 5 hours to fucking see it happen, right? But with this guy, this is OIH is like a component inside this guy in oil, right? We're looking at the resolution of his flags and stuff, and we know we played him here. This is where we gave you an OnlyFans for him. Not there. We gave you an OnlyFans for him on December 23rd. Right here in this rotation, right? And this wave played out, and then this thing cooked, for like the better part of a year. This flag right here, once you track the angle of it, it's huge. It began in January. It took fucking a half a year to rotate, right at the end of June, right? The first 6 months, that was the great 6 months of the S&P. It was also just this really a bull flag in energy. So this one wave, timing this and waiting for this, you have to be patient. You have to pay attention for the whole of the year. So because he's on my longer term focus, right? Like I am very much on top of dirty energy like that. So I could wait for it and time that rotation and also time tech. But this is what loses most people, the patience to wait for this resolution. And I'm not looking to trade oil stocks and any other lower resolution than this because I'm looking for a big cycle energy thing that lasts for like years. So as far as this goes, I never really look at this guy and anything much lower than this, for me personally. If you guys ask me stuff for like something that's going on, I'll obviously like look lower and stuff. But like this is the resolution I'm tracking it because I'm looking at this as a macro play with like, the change in world leadership and stuff, around what's going on with BRICS and NATO and part of their overall attack and their asset basket and stuff like that. So they keep on driving, what they're doing in energy against us and credit against us. Ultimately, everything should get less affordable, and this should be one of those things. So anyways, right, if you're hunting around and you're going on this chart and you end up down like fucking like this resolution, like, oh, it looks like a bull flag, and you were just in that other one, you haven't got any fucking plan, and everything will look kind of good to you. So you want to be really, really cautious of doing stuff like that. Have a fucking plan first and then see like where this guy fits into it. Don't sit there trying to create a plan out of whatever in any resolution. It also has to have a plan that fits with what the fuck you're up to, right? You can't possibly be looking to trade one chart in like fucking like months and then another one in like 5 minutes in the same moment in the same asset, right? What exactly is your life like? What the fuck are you doing? Anyways, that's a memo on that. That makes sense? Oh yeah, makes sense memo. You guys, oh, that's good. Make you so dizzy when people be swinging their things around, but yet it's just a sign of confusion. And in that state of mind, you don't want to try to create a plan from that point, Well, you said, Luca, you said a fact thing about the premium idea is tech, so we don't think energy could be a good idea. And the correlation when Kathy buying it at the top is because the idea was very influential. Influenced, retarded? I'm almost not sure what you're saying there. Mind fucked myself out of energy play and then got chopped up a bit, but show warnings helped a lot in not giving back everything. Okay, cool. So anyways, we try to keep you guys like aware of everything, and I know it's a lot of information, but try to keep it simple enough that you can kind of pay attention to what's going on in banks and pay attention to what's going on in currencies and the yen, pay attention to what's going on in Japan a little bit, pay attention to what's going on in Europe, and then within our sectors within the S&P, which is our main index we track risk assets with, and talk a little bit about those rotations that we have to be aware of if we're not sitting there as like, investors in index funds, but we're paying attention to like which guy might go next, in which space. Once you have a little bit more granular resolution, what we do here is definitely something you have to do if you want to stay on top of like what's next. All right, so I know I got war stories. Let's see what you guys did. War stories. Who is this again? NY Lig. I believe this kid's in high school. I hope I mistake that, but I think he's yeah. This cool, right? I don't know any 15-year-olds that even had access to things to look at the stock market when I was 15. People had computers, but nobody was doing anything like this. So this is it's pretty crazy. You actually have a chance to learn stuff like this at 15. Can you imagine? Hey Kaz and Eco, I'll keep this one short because I know you're in a time crunch. I appreciate you. I'm just fucking around. I read whatever. I just like to fuck with people who write books and shit because I know they put all kinds of effort into it. So you kick them in the dick, they get all in their feels. But no, it's all good. You can write me whatever. After the market chopping me into pieces, I decided to write another war story since you said a war story doesn't have to be all wins. It was called a war story. Generally speaking, like there's no such thing as good news in a war. It's like, so yeah, it was the reason it stopped being called a scorecard is because we wanted to stop putting pressure on people to only fucking come up with wins. Some people started doing silly shit just to generate the R's on the chart so they could say, hey, look, I'm in the club. And we wanted to have like a realistic, just like our art of markets, a realistic story across time of what's really going on in these ways. And some of them you play really good, some of you don't. Like, yesterday I got fucking the shit kicked out of me, getting fucking late entries on stuff, and I finished the day at the fucking lows. It can be, a shitty day. Every day's not a good one. I had an amazing run in oil, and then after my amazing run, I fucked it up. So, shit happens to all of us. Putting down what happens good and bad over time, people can kind of tie it back into the places in the price where they had certain problems or certain experiences, and this is what actually makes this such a valuable resource, is being willing to put down like what's really happening, so people actually don't also feel like everybody else only wins. No, everybody else doesn't only win. The whole reason that we define fucking like ours is because we lose and we're trying to make more in the wins than we rack up in all the places we get our balls chopped off, right? So this is more realistic. So definitely be into doing that. Let's see, where did it go? Another seriously, I again see myself participating less in shows and showing up less like the other people that also don't show up with these recent view numbers. Well, you are 15, so I think you're in school and shit, right? So don't put too much pressure on yourself. I'm actually impressed that you sustained your effort at that age to watch this crazy shit. I really wouldn't have thought this show was interesting to anybody in that age bracket, so that's pretty cool. Actually, it should be because it looks fucking like a goddamn comic book, and I fucking think you guys are the age bracket of comic book readers. Anyway, when I was even talking to you in voice chats, and I said it myself that people have this information in front of them but still don't show up, I caught myself doing the same thing after losing 6 Rs to dumb entries and greed. I changed my time frames and realized I was trading in a massive bull flag, losing Rs while still being on 4 hour but zoomed in. Okay. Also, that bad stop loss placement stopped me before I could catch the pump on the initial pump by a couple dollars, which also fucked me up mentally and led to me taking other bad trades. I also have another question related to this war story. How would a 15-year-old kid get started in real estate? Do you have any tips, since I know you had a background in it? That's like a whole other fucking goddamn war story question. How do you throw that in as like a side note? This requires its own fucking segment. This is a very honest piece, and yeah, like running to make another trade after you get knocked out, you can make like a even shittier decision you normally would because you're going to be emotionally compromised from the mistake. So this kind of like, introspectively looking back at it, like being patient maybe after you're in an emotionally compromised place, and taking a step back so you get calmed down again to make a whole new plan. Prices are always doing the same thing. There's always another move coming, so you don't have to rush to find the very next great opportunity. A solid plan from a good state of mind is definitely an asset. So I think this is a good story here, and I think a lot of people go through the exact same things, but nothing here is like uncommon. Just zooming out and being patient with everyone in your plays and putting the same effort to every one of these things, not getting like mind fucked and going right back in, and also keeping context, like what resolutions you're in is really hugely important, right? Everything looks the same at every resolution. That's why price alignment matters, right? That's what we teach you in wave logic. So This is cool. That's a very good war story from a 15-year-old. So on as far as the real estate question goes, I'm not sure what state you're in or anything like that, but legally, the probably the best way to get involved there would probably have like a family member help you kind of get started. Maybe form like an LLC or something with like your father, your mother, whoever you could has the time to work with you on this, and it depends what end of the pool that you want to start in. Some people want to buy property for cash flow investing, basically be landlords, and other people want to do fix and flipping and stuff, and that's a good end to start at. And you can start in like C or B minus neighborhood or something like that with some low level renovations, nothing with like ridiculous amounts of work if you don't have experience in that world. There's a lot of different things to help you kind of like figure that out. One thing about real estate investing in terms of like being a landlord or fix and flipping is it's the one market in the whole country that everyone has access to, and pretty much everybody. You don't need to be a genius to do it, unless you're gonna go fix like burnouts or like sinkhole properties and stuff like that. But I think you're gonna need to pair up with somebody to help you get started, and you're gonna also need a little bit of capital or at least a creditor that will back you up, so you guys can start buying distressed assets. You're also going to need a little bit of education on how to select a distressed asset and figure out what the price field is, where the distressed floor is, where the fucking the superior asset like top end of the market pricing is, and then what kind of liquidity exists as far as getting in and getting out, what kind of time frames. So there's a couple of things to check off, just like in markets and stocks, that you need before you walk into that door. Also, I could do a real estate nebula. I'm not active in that world anymore, but I used to be King Kong of that shit. So, at 15, I'd gladly help you figure out how to kind of start looking into that and point in some right direction. So I just ask me stuff in Discord and we'll talk about it. But yeah, that's not something I can just package into a short answer, right? It depends a lot on what you have access to. But yeah, that's an amazing fucking war story and a question follow up there for a 15-year-old kid in high school. Good Lord. Where's my kid at? No, I'm kidding. Oh shit, what did I just push? 86 viewers. Would this qualify as Skeleton Crew vibe still? And a real estate neb. One of the things about that I think is like, I understand it from the legal perspective of like Florida laws, and within the 50 states, not all the laws are the same. There is enough similarities that you can always create a workaround for some of the things that we do. Some states make it ridiculously hard to flip property, but the basic rules of thumb on property valuation and asset selection and all of that, and most of the things that we deal with here should be replicatable in most other countries. I know some places you can't own property or hold it legally the same way that you can here. I think people told me in France you literally cannot flip property the way you do it here, and I don't know enough of like your local rules. But one of the most important things if you're going to walk into that game is learn your local laws. That is where the biggest money is made and lost, is not understanding the law, especially when you deal with contracts, right? Understanding the law is everything about your business. So you need to know some of those nuances that most people are too lazy to bother with. Wholesaling, which most people now, it's like fucking all over the fucking place in the United States, was like a hidden away secret because no one knew how people could transact fucking 50 properties in 30 days. And do you have fucking $100 million in the bank to fucking buy all those houses at once? Technically, yes and no. It's like, what? What people didn't understand what equitable right of contract was. And that's what actually allowed people to, sell properties and actually liquidate them to fucking pools of investors without having to take on the fucking financial load of fucking closing on every single one of them. And I said that in a way specifically for people who have enough education about it to get what I'm saying. But there's a legal hole that actually created the market for wholesale property flipping. Which was a huge piece of the boom cycle for real estate coming out of the bottom of the financial crisis that I was in 2009. Holy crap, the 15-year-old kid just led to a bazillion fucking words. What? I hope that's really important while I'm live. Oh, okay. Oh. So, I did want to mention this. I'm glad my son just messaged me. Hold on. Let me get this article. Where did it go? So, geez, you want to see something crazy, right? We're looking. No, don't use my current location. What the fuck? Fuck you. This, it's crazy people looking at like interest rates go on properties right now, and people are like, when is the real estate market gonna pull and give me a cheap house, right? There are parts of the country that are still setting records, while the cost of ownership is literally going through the ceiling on a fucking like interest rate basis and in a price basis. Imagine that this place is hitting a record while interest rates have just gone from like 2.15 to like fucking 7 on 30-year mortgages. You realize this is it's like literally life is becoming unaffordable in the United States, and people like are sitting there like, I gotta wait for the pullback, and you want to see like how crazy it is. Here's another crazy story. Hope I can find this fast. Right? This is another, oh my God, that's fucking bright. I can't use that website. Jesus Christ. Where'd it go? Give me something that's not that fucking blinding. Jesus God. UPS driver jobs. Now, this is an interesting article that I think on its face, people go, what the fuck is going on in UPS? But imagine that they can afford to pay them $170,000 to drop off a box from Amazon. Well, if you understand the interconnectivity of things, right? That guy isn't going to all of a sudden be able to move into your fucking local A+ golf course. What happens is, if you pay the McDonald's worker fucking like $50 an hour, those costs are producer price costs, right? That's what you don't want to see. Producer price inflation is inescapable inflation. It's getting passed to your ass, guaranteed. They're not going to sit and keep prices the same and fucking pay these guys, just short of a fifth of fucking $1 million to drive a truck. This person's level in society will maintain relative valuations. And what will happen is, where he used to live and the houses used to be fucking like between $240,000 and $315,000, they'll adjust accordingly. So he's in the exact same class of neighborhood at $170,000. This is inflation, what you're looking at right here. This is exactly what you fucking don't want to see happening, is that the money isn't really worth shit. When I graduated college, in the dinosaur era, which is just before 9/11, if you graduated school and found a job for $55,000 to $65,000, you were living a pretty comfortable life outside of like California or like Manhattan. Anywhere in the United States that you were making north of $55,000, you could pretty much do what you wanted. Now what you're looking at is like that. I think that job used to pay around 55, like maybe like 15 years ago. What you're looking at is like whatever that 55,000 time value of money used to afford that guy back then is going to equal what the 170 can get him. He's not going to get magically more while he's going to just blow everybody away and blow coders away. It's telling you that the value of your money is really just worth shit. And the properties are telling you that while interest rates are rising, and wages are starting to tell you that. That won't be the last version of something that sounds a little too ludicrous to be making for a job type that doesn't sound right. It's like a good fit. But yeah, this is definitely something you want to pay attention to. Pretty fucking crazy. Where'd that other one go? Yeah, this is $1 million for a fucking apartment. Pretty insane. I don't know if you guys know this, right? Brooklyn is the most dense dense county in the entire United States. There's 2.6 to 2.7 million people living there. To give you an idea of that, that's the same population as the entire island of Jamaica that I'm from. The entire island of Jamaica lives in Brooklyn. It's actually pretty fucking nuts. But yeah. And that place's median's $1 million. So holy fuck. It is insane, right? 7% 30-year mortgages, and it's not stopping. It's like fucking the prices are still fucking looking crazy. But if you don't keep everything in check, you might think, oh, my house is booming. I was like, nah, the bricks attack is actually working. Asset prices and everything, food and everything you give a shit about, energy are all going through the ceiling, and your money's turning into garbage. You have to get paid numbers that don't make any sense. That stay alive doing what you used to do yesterday was like half that much. it'll take time to see it ripple into the system, right? But if you're that, I think that package for UPS is supposed to take hold within 5 years. So you're going to be seeing this like, within 5 years, like literally you have a timetable to see that wage inflation infect the fucking system and put things in a place where his 170 is today's like 55 or whatever the price point they're at today is. So pretty nuts. Yeah, that was something I wanted to get into the show actually today. So I'm glad. Thank you for that text, sir. All right, so I think that's a lot of goodies in the show for you guys to review, right? So we can do a macro and let you guys out of here. That's some symbols. Decent Friday show. If you're feeling kind of sleepy, you have to pay attention today. What is going on here? All right. This is the way we're opening today. Good old dildo rules, right? On the open, nothing but dick. All right, QQQs. We're really zoomed in. Sorry. So let's zoom out a little bit. I got it. Guy's gonna kill me. This guy never remembers anything. I got it. So again, we're tracking this. Didn't make it anywhere. Kind of just a gap down, floating in the middle of the gap right now. Spy things, we talked about this in the beginning of the show. Just tracking this back, seeing how it goes. Right now, as far as this day goes, we opened, like I said, dick rules wise. Come on. What's he doing? Right? Probably a little lower resolution, right? I opened here and we're getting a pump. I think we had a number at 10 o'clock, Izzy had said. Consumer sentiments. Yeah, there it is. So that's your consumer sentiment pump that he warns you about for all you guys that are active intraday. So just backing up one day. Do the things we didn't do yet. All right. Diamonds we're keeping track of, right, in case that diamond Q ratio keeps doing what he's doing. Industrials have a chance to be in a leadership position for as long as that sustains, if the market does continue to appreciate at least somewhere. So energy, like we said, like in energy, parts of him are in the S&P and Dow, and if we see that tilt like we see like here, it can be those sides of the market that are actually pushing while tech is kind of just soft, right? So that being said, you want to keep track of DXY. He's always a good barometer too on some of the risk offness in the market when the VIX is strong. He keeps being strong. He's generally not a good sign for guys like tech or discretionary. What's the other one? VIX. Have a look at him a little bit. Still flagging like we said. Want to keep highs backed up a little bit, right? This is still worth paying attention to, right? Still a bull flag above Trolex, and we saw Trolex yesterday. So always worth noting where you see those dickheads show up, right? So it was a very weak troll though, so it's not worth putting on the chart. But we make note of it. Okay, and then let's see. VIX, DXY, crypto things. Crypto still cooking. And not much has really happened since. So again, right, patience with this. This is cooking at a bit higher resolution than what we've been watching. With stocks and stuff like that. ETH has been pretty much stalled out since fucking April, right? And that's kind of like same thing we see mirrored in the USD.T. Again, we're watching for this projection. I think it's still possible. So next flag here, see if you manage to rotate down. But this 7.17 line is probably going to be your level where this swings through the neck and actually get some gas into crypto. So still paying attention to see if this rotation is possible. And then also this level here I have here is pretty good. This was was that a trigger somewhere? That was a trigger down here. So it's a good clean level. You can see that we get good, congestion on top or bottom of it. So if we pop on top of this, that would probably be a big crypto negative. So just pay attention and see what he does from here. See if we get the projection to fill in. I think that's it. Oh yeah, we should look at where is he at? SPY, SPX. So looking at this guy, right, we would say we've got a bull flag on the S&P with that level. So we want to keep this guy in perspective because we still do have a lot of dead bodies that made this thing form. And we want to look at who's really like, still, we want to keep track of energy and things. We also want to keep track of which market in the world is actually like, got the alpha in it right now. Did this thing fuck me with the symbol names again? It always does this shit. What the fuck? Well, anyways, just looking at this entire year's run, right? Nikkei, has been stationary for quite a bit. He's been stationary for most of June. So, even before like tech went fucking like into limp mode. So we do want to pay attention to him if he gets like live streamed again, because he's in a really crazy big cycle move himself that still people don't really believe also, right? So on the international level, we don't want to fall asleep on stuff like that. Right at this moment, right, it looks pretty much like most markets themselves are kind of looking like the U.S. and just tracking backwards in this consolidation phase. The only guy that looks stable really is Japan. But within these guys, right, like energy as a space has been pretty fucking crazy for on either side of the water. So just a snapshot I wanted to add to the show, and make sure we keep our murder cluster chart in focus. I'm gonna have to go get some more updates. I don't know if there's any more crazy ones, but yeah, still to this day, holy shit, right? All right, motherfuckers, where did my fucking mirror screen go? Bro, tell me. Do I have no screen? No way. I didn't do that with no screen. Did I just do all that with no screen? I did have a screen, I didn't have a screen. Oh my god. I was like, not again. So everybody knows what the fuck's going on. Okay, thank God. It's like, not again. I'll just fucking turn the show off. Alright, cool. So, alright, now everybody knows what's up. Throw me some symbols and let me get you guys out of here for the weekend. That's not too deep. So, you guys are kind of trying to actively manage how many symbols you throw at me now, for fear the world will fucking explode if you ask too many. XMR USD. Man, that's gotta be Solomon. Let's see. Where do I have that at? Pretty sure. Why don't I save this thing in the damn tree? Am I an idiot? I don't know what chart it's on. God damn it. I don't have any idea which one of these things it's on. That's definitely not it. You guys remember? Help a brother out. I actually have no idea where this fucking chart is. That'll kill me. I gotta save this thing once I find it. Please tell me it's on Binance. Please tell me I did it anywhere that makes fucking sense to still do it. It's not there either. There it is. Oh my god. It's on Phoenix over here. Alright. Must add. Not looking for this motherfucker one more goddamn time. On Phoenix. Sweet. Okay. So cycle things, he's a lot like LTC in his cycles. That's why we'd map this, right? It's the same LTC winter cycle that's also reflected in XMR. And then over here, in this bull flag rotation, like we're watching XMR, right? We watch this range. We don't know how long necessarily he has to track in this. But we're looking for a rotation of this most recent bull flag. So we can kind of draw him a little bit better. Whoops. But yeah, that was the same scenario we talked about before. So far, he's just holding in the range here, and he's holding a slightly higher floor in here. You could even look at him like having, possibly done a lower rotation here, trying to set up a wave out. Let's see what he looks like, and I know I have a chart for this too, but God knows where that is. I know one of those guys is over here, XY BTC. Oh, sweet. Thank God. This is what happens when you have fucking TN, two different templates. So right, this is our main area of congestion we have back here from 15 and 16. XMR BTC did base on it as a system, so it's worth noting, right, that he was able to do that. And so we do want to see this. If you ever have alpha of XMR over BTC in the currency markets, you'll be able to pick it up here. If this guy's pumping here and crypto is strong, XMR will be going fucking nuclear. So yeah, so keep these two ideas together, right? XMR BTC along with XMR USD. All right. Run, which is a solar stock. I think we have him over here. Run. Here's Run. So Run, you have to keep in mind with TAN. TAN, that's not the right TAN chart. TAN. So this guy's been pretty weak. Not really meant to get legs. Dirty energy is generally strong. He's usually not. So right now, solar is actually taking the face a bit. And if you see it, it's kind of, man, what's going on with this thing? Where is that, June is when fucking like dirty energy took off. And if you kind of see it here, you can even see it reflected here. Like he really wasn't part of it. Like I think like XOP versus this is TAN, right? It's getting cooked along with anything technological. It's getting cooked with fucking dirty energy right now when you're in a de-risking kind of phase. So you're seeing that happen to solar also. So Run is part of that, and Run, I forget exactly what other specifics are to him, but he's just performing horribly among the basket. So let's see who else is in here. He's not as bad. FSLR, he's your best of breed in that space. JKS is like your China play. So Run amounts to the worst one that we've looked at just in total. He looks like god awful. And it's Sedge. Wow, that looks like the crash cycle of fucking Solar's just began. So this is an insanely fucking congested range to break underneath. So we stay underneath here. This is ominous. And speaks to possibly larger cycle fucking problems coming our way. So, holy crap. All right, so Run is in a space that looks like he's in a bit of trouble right now, and he looks like he's one of the worst of breeds in it, at least in this resolution here. Sedge may be catching up to that. The speed he's coming down right now. So, crash cycle is a bull flag. You want this guy to be in the right phase, right? You want this to be a strong side of the market again. So that's something you want to keep track of right here. Now he's definitely not, even with an energy. He's the dog of energy, right? Solar. So if this guy can rotate again, this trigger we had here was an old system high. All right, he has a wick and then he has a gas pedal, and so he has a wick again. And so I think if we see him back up there, this is the same thing. This is the same key level you want to keep track of. What am I doing here? If you were to do something like this, and I want to make you think he's got to do that. Let's just say, if he gets up here again, he has a chance of having a movement, a much stronger, easier movement like this did. So I think that's what you're watching. If you see it here, I can see this low has good interaction. Fang is Diamondback Energy. He's an oil guy. I think he's on this chart. Fang. Nope, we never did him over here. Okay. So which side is he specifically in? He is in energy, minerals, oil and gas production. So he's like, the same rotation we saw, with everything energy right now. He's experiencing that. Don't have any level drawn for him. Let me put something on here. So how about this is 2018 high, and it's the high before COVID. So that's what he's been congested on. Oops. See that kind of noise on there? Don't like seeing that. One gas pedal move, one gas pedal move, and a bunch of shit. Do it. So just looking at OIH, right, just get an idea of what the wave you're looking at is. And we saw what OIH is like, rotation is at a big ass bull frag from 08. So if this is going to continue his trajectory, maybe you take a little breather on this and then continue out, right? Sometimes you can just gas pull it out, but generally once you're like tracking out, like, rising channel, sometimes your price corrects against it and then, takes off like that. But right now I'm looking at, energy. I think energy has possibly more legs to it. So as long as this, that tide sustains the energy versus tech that we're seeing, this likely can keep on carrying out and finish this rotation on this bull flag here. We do notice that, like, with OIH, he's already broken out. So as an ETF that tracks a group of these guys, to see him break out before that guy you just gave me, Fang, did, he's definitely not one of the strongest guys in the space, right? He's definitely a laggard. So I think there's some other stronger guys in there, like, Schlumberger, right? He's more in line with what's going on in OIA. So there's some guys that are like, leading and lagging, and you want to pay attention to a couple guys in the space. But broadly speaking, yeah, it looks fucking bullish as hell and fucking dirty energy. Gilead. Gilead. He said like the old one. Yeah, we have Gilead. OG. I can't even remember when the hell we made this. I can't remember you guys asking me about Gilead. So he's doing whatever the hell we said last time. Analysis over. Iridium. Iridium. Space Cash. Okay, so wow. Talk about a good fucking level. So what did he do? Fucked up earnings. Always want to know about earnings, right? And this guy, yeah, he fucked those up. So this is a good trigger that we have for him and a good level of interaction. So he's got a good gap on it. This is the level you carry again. Is from a bullish stance. How he comes back to this and goes back through it, it'll be a good level of interaction. As far as paying attention to how he's dumping in, that this was a good flag we had here for the exit. About dump tested that thing. How deep could he go? You don't want to guess, but first interaction, if he could like stop run everyone from here and then come back up through it, if he could do some like finish off everybody through here and come back up, he might have a shot to go back up here and check this level, and then you kind of see what what he does as a decision point right here. But I think overall, like where we had this mapped out, this is what you want to see. A system back on top of here that mirrors this and gives you a new bull flag, right? Because use the same old drawing. Yeah, this ain't be tripping, bro. We're just looking for this setup eventually, right? You like that? Swappable TA. But we're still looking for that. Damn right, hit that like button, motherfuckers. Alright, let's see. NTR. NTR is Nutrient. He's one of the food guys. Okay, so whenever the fuck we did this, either he rotates here or he rotates down there, or I was saying what you're looking for on this angle was that he would rotate through. He didn't pull it off. He's now made it through. We adjust the angle for the new low. So let's make sure we're really precise with this. He's on the edge of possibly rotating that out. And is this all my data for this guy? Damn it. One day, guys. One day. I'll do the screen thing for you. One day. But not today, Jackson. No screen as of NTR. I appreciate the memo. Really? I did the screen for Iridium and didn't have it for NTR? That's so fucking weird. Alright, well, alright. So there's that guy and then NTR. What's going on with NTR? What did we say? Oh yeah, so look at the high of this system here, pre-COVID, good test and arc off of that. He dipped through it. This is really good. He stop ran everyone from this flag through and then came back out, and then finally is like violating his angle. So I think he's probably worth watching now. He's been tiding backwards for a minute. Let's change this into that, and then where is... I really hate these new arrows. They look really terrible. And they never go where you fucking click. So, yeah, I think above this system, you know, like you see how this guy's structured out and give you a pretty good... Jesus, it's such a weird lag. Rotate here. Do you want to pay attention to this little floor here? This is a pretty good floor that we've got. Could be kind of noisy. I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm feeling on that one. So, what color can we use? Too much yellow. We could use this and then make you fuchsia, or make you cyan. Yeah, it looks better. So maybe one more flag out here holds the fucking system above this trigger, and then rotates up and probably has a little noise before he gets through this level, and then through this level you can have some decent ease of movement. Alright. I'm gonna do like 2 or 3 more of these. Let's see. No one's asked HD in a while. Home builder stuff, right? Home renovation things. I don't think this is necessarily as strong a place to be as like I think let me reduce some of my nonsense while I can pay a fucking attention. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good deal. So home builders. What's that on? This is the chart for home builders, right? ITB. So Lowe's and Home Depot are like the guys you know, once you buy a house, you buy shit from them to fix it up. Right now, you know, I feel like your consumer, you know, has to have a place to live, but it's not a necessity to renovate it. And you really have the boom cycles for those guys when people have excess cash. You know, like when you had the stimulus and stuff, and people have money, you have boom cycles on those guys. You look at these guys now, right? The builders themselves are fucking like retardo, but the guys who renovate them, you know, are kind of like choppy and not really going anywhere. And so I've kind of been paying attention to that in the home builder space. It's really been like just a fucking builder boom. And with the prices you see in Manhattan and stuff, like people need a place to live. There's been a shortage of fucking property in this country since fucking like, you know, the banking crisis. And institutions have consumed so many, you know, creating these huge rental pools while people still are actually trying to purchase places to live. So the combination effect is there's just a fucking absolute shortage, you know, financing costs be damned. This is one we talked about here, get above system, flag. I think you can watch them together. This is a pretty good, you know, triple top he's on top of. So he's now done the projection from when we did this, and we can use these guys as a proxy on each other, right? They're pretty correlated. So looking where he is, if he holds that right now, these guys have been struggling a little bit. This might be the final fucking leg. He can actually get some traction and break out. And I think if Lowe's rotates that level we've got, then this has your best chance of actually finally clearing this really shitty range he's been stuck in. That same triple top we saw in Lowe's is, you can bracket it with a box range. Let's look at it, right? So high right here. That wick got up here. Tested this. That is such an ugly fucking setup, right? So we have a good trigger here that turned into a fucking nightmare that finally sustained and pushed out. Yeah, I think you gotta look at like how he gets gas here. He might just let him get up to this spot to fucking like actually clear it. I don't know what the fuck this drawing is anyway. What the hell is that? Yeah, that's a good level. I think let him get on top of that. Yeah, I think that's most likely the easier place to play him from where he's at right at this point. The arrows are hideous, right? Like that's what I was saying. What the fuck are these? These look like something came from like a Windows machine. Just fucking gross. What am I looking at here? 8058 Mitsubishi. Sweet Jesus. Fucking Japan. Holy fuck. What is going on in Toyota? Are you playing catch up? Jesus Christ. Honda? What the fuck is going on? Is that Mitsubishi the car company? Let me look again. 8058. Distribution. They're under the heart icon? No shit. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's just ghastly, bro. Much better. Yeah, these are terrible. How does it make sense to put that under the fucking heart icon? Alright, 8058 Mitsubishi. If I had to just broadly say it, looks like you missed a move. Not being a dick, but like, yeah, I think you missed a move. You want to chase that thing up here? Can he continue? Totally. Is it got the same risk reward potentially did when it was down here? Definitely not. Let's see. But if you're gonna deal with him up here as a system, at least a corrective system that's bigger than what like the trend that took him up here, so at least he could be a localized fucking system at this height. Yo, this thing is so laggy. Let's see. Not really holding that too great. But you want to see him maybe track out on this trend trajectory and kind of like, just hold on to what he's doing. If Japan keeps strength up, if Japan's trying to rotate right now, and if he does get strength, this guy could maintain some ridiculous trajectory out of here. Follow this track out. Something like that, but beware of this guy doing something along the lines of like 2Bing and coming back through this angle and going to a corrector structure. It could lead to like a much larger flag, which I'd feel a lot better about seeing than something this fucking high and tight. Unless Japan catches major strength, this is pretty dangerous. But if he goes out and can continue, never call tops and something like this, it's a bull market of the century. But there's probably something else you can find that will give you a chance to get like something, a little bit more alpha than chasing this guy. It's clearly probably generating some emotions at this point. You've been trading MUFG. Yeah, MUFG is Mitsubishi Financial Group. Yeah, wrong Mitsubishi, nigga. Yeah, that's I've seen that one. I think that's one Buffett bought into. Alright, so I'll do one more and I'll let you guys out of here before I kill you with symbols. So we've done enough oil stuff. I'll grab This talked to us in Japan. So we could look at PAVE, which is your global infrastructure guys, part of the guys who are ripping, with the push you see like in industrials versus tech. Is that it? Is that as far back as that guy goes? So last time we ever looked at this dude. Alright, so he's finally got some life to him, right? And he's got like some energy guys in him and stuff like that. So he's gotten pushed out while tech is kind of taking a breather, right? It's June run. He's actually running from May, and actually through the energy wave, and right now it's kind of consolidating at highs. If that tide's not over against tech, this guy's also worth keeping eyes on. Also, as long as he stays up here. So, how far has he got to correct in this? He's probably the wave you've seen in things like Deer and Cat. And these guys have been like fucking insane. Can it all go again? These guys have been stronger than fucking people are definitely sleeping on them. Whoops. Alright, if these guys rotate out right now, I pay attention to PAVE. If these guys can clear these systems that they're in right now and keep these resolutions of the trajectories they're on in this resolution, then yeah, this guy can clear out right out of this pretty quickly. So I would track this bull flag, see if it turns into a bigger bull flag and holds above this system, or if he rotates out, if these guys catch strength with it, then I'd pay attention to all three. Alright, bitches, that's a lot of stuff. Hit the like button, tell your friends. Be prepared to lose those friends, but have them watch the show anyway. Alright, bitches. Till next time, catch you on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.